Okay guys, welcome to another They Did What. This week we're taking a look at classic software house Thalamus Software. Now Thalamus, they were kind of originally established, I think they started out in 1986. They were basically an in-house software publishing label of the magazine publisher Newsfield Publications. Who obviously made Crash, Zap 64 and Antics. They were primarily on the C64, although they did put out a few games on the Spectrum. I don't think they put anything out on the Amstrad at all, and they did make a few games for the Commodore Amiga. A lot of their games are very, very technically proficient, really excellent stuff. So anyway, enjoy some adverts and we shall take a look at a few of the games shortly. Okay, to kick things off, let's take a look at, I think it was their second release on the C64, Delta. This was programmed by Stavros Fassoulai, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not quite sure. This was a follow-up to Sanction. Now, it's very, very pretty looking graphically. I did buy this at the time. I've got to say, I found it just a bit too difficult. Excellent graphics, really excellent sound. It also came with a thing called the Mix E Loader, which Gary Liddon actually programmed. You could sort of mix music whilst the game was loading. But yeah, the game itself, it's kind of based sort of on Nemesis. I would say it's got power-ups, but it's very, very difficult. One thing I wasn't overly keen in the game was the fact that it's, you know, the difficulty and the fact that it's very much a memory game. You need to know exactly where to go. But then I suppose games like Nemesis in the arcades, they were kind of memory games as well. But yeah, it's a pretty game, very, very difficult. You've got to, I think if you kill all the baddies, hopefully I'll demonstrate it shortly, if you manage to kill all the baddies in a sort of a sequence, then it opens up one of the sort of tiles which you can then pick up. The tile turns blue and you can then pick up that tile and that gives you a sort of power up. I'm saying it's kind of like Nemesis. I would say it's almost more, it was kind of organic-y graphics. I would say it's probably got more in common with its Salamander, I think it is. Yeah, the difficulty of this game is just brutal. What was interesting, Gary Liddon, he was actually along at our computer club a couple of years ago, and I loaded this game up for him and said, come on Gary, you show us how it's done. And I mean, he did better than I could do, but he did admit it was quite a difficult game. You see there that one is blue, so I can pick that up. Now I should have better speed, which makes things slightly easier, but not very much. There's another power up, so it should give me a bit more speed. Blimey, I got to stage 2. Go figure. But yeah, it is a really nice game, you know, graphically and, you know, technically it's magnificent. but as I say, it is hard as nails. So that is Delta, and that was on the C64. Right, this is Hawkeye. This is on the Commodore Amiga. As you can probably tell, guys, I've not got these in any order. You know, I just thought just play them randomly. Never ever played this game. Funnily enough, by the time this came out in the C64, I had already moved on to the, I don't know whether it was the Amiga or, you know, the Atari ST at this point, but I don't recall actually ever playing this game. It kind of looks, kind of plays similar to sort of Castlevania, Contra type game, sort of a run and gun. Is that Killer Snowmen? Killer Brown Snowmen? I'm not quite sure what they're meant to be. I mean, graphically, this is really nice looking. The funny thing was, a lot of games that appeared in the C64 and the Amiga, especially the early games, they tended to be, a lot of the times the C64 was better. I think, maybe not obviously graphically or sonically, but I think just because they'd obviously had a handle on the hardware a lot longer than the Amiga, you know. That wasn't the case for every game, obviously. But yep, very, very pretty. So that's Hawkeye, and that is on the Amiga. Right, to do a comparison, this is Hawkeye on the C64. So we'll see if I'm talking rubbish or not. Now, right off the bat, you know, there's not a lot to choose between the graphics, and that is more to do with the fact that how good the C64 graphics are. If anything, I think the slightly blockier graphics and sort of less colour palette, whoops a daisy, actually lends itself better to a game like this. I'm assuming this game would have been multi-load. Takes a wee bit of practice doing the jumping, as I am aptly demonstrating. Not quite sure if that's a power up or not, I'm not too sure. Come on, these wee guys unlimited? I think they must be. When in doubt, make a run for it. Yeah, that's Hawkeye. That's a rather nice game. Yeah, this game, Heatseeker. Talk about a batshit mental game. First time I've played it, it is thoroughly mental. You play the part of what I can only describe as a hydraulic bouncing leg with some kind of kinky boot, and it's got a thing that holds a ball in it. What the idea of this game is, I have absolutely no idea. This is thoroughly mental. Now you can sort of bounce in the leaves, the various leaves. There's frogs jumping about. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. None at all. Alright, wait a minute, right, if you hold down the fire button, you can sort of move the ball about. Energy ball. Pastelli. I've got absolutely no idea at all what I'm supposed to be doing with this thing. Well, I've not got any score, so whatever I should be doing, I'm not. What a thoroughly bizarre looking game. To squash these ants, possibly? Score. Nope, I've still got nothing at all. Nope, so the idea isn't to squash the insects. If anybody knows how to play this game, please put it below. I've got no idea. I've never even heard of this game. This is a very, very surreal looking game. Oh, I'm back in the holder thing with the bouncy leg. With the kinky boot. It's just mental. And that was actually one of the later games as well. So anyway, yeah, that is Heatseeker, and that's on the C64. Right, this is another one of their very, very famous games, Hunter's Moon. Now, I believe it was programmed by Martin Walker, who was quite a prolific programmer. Now, I had moved away from the C64 at this point, so I'd never actually got to play this game. You know, that might not actually be true. I think I might have still had my C64 when this game came out, but for whatever reason, I just never actually bought the game. So you need to excuse my lack of knowledge of how to play this. I'm really not sure what I'm doing here. You can destroy these sort of flowers, but they just keep coming back again. I've not got any score for destroying them, so... So it looks like that white dot thing is killing me. Always thought this was more a kind of a sort of a shooter, a bit like sort of asteroids type thing, or blasteroids, but it doesn't appear to be. I don't see any baddies. Now you can see there's a little sort of very, very basic radar sort of at the bottom of the screen, but it seems to be pointing towards these things, so it looks like I'm going in the right place, but I've not got any score at all, so I'm really not too sure what I should be doing here. Graphically, this is very, very nice. I don't think there was ever any game with Thalamus. I mean, that's one thing about this software house. The graphics were always of very, very high calibre. Yeah, there just seems to be more and more of these little circles of flowers. Ah, wait, there's a little sparkly thing in the middle. Is that some kind of warp thing, possibly? Ah, balls. I remember this getting reviewed in Zap, and I don't think it scored that highly. I always remember thinking because, what do you call it? Because it was a Thalamus game. I mean, most of their games are very, very high quality. I was quite surprised when it didn't rate that highly. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm trying to do here. Cubic system doesn't seem to be letting me move up or down at all. No, I don't know. Anyway, listen, we'll move on. That is Hunter's Moon, and that's on the C64. Right, this is Nobby the Aardvark. Now this was a very, very late game. I think this came out something like 1992, 93. So, you know, they were still making games for the C64, and there was people playing with Mega Drives and SNESes at this point. You know, but that's just testament to, you know, the fact that the community, there were still publishers supporting the C64. I mean, the C64 must have had a lifespan of about 1982 to about 1995, which is incredible. 12 years. I mean, look at something like the Wii, the Nintendo Wii. It died after what, 3-4 years? Nintendo Wii U had 3 years, I think it was. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of waffling a wee bit. Nobby the Aardvark. Quite a pretty looking game. Quite tricky, I'm guessing. I've got to try and jump on that thing, whatever it is, whilst avoiding the little spurt of water. Which is most definitely easier said than done. Quick, 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 quick. Oh, bloody hell, the same thing again. Yep, it's what you call a steep difficulty curve. Oh, another one. Ah, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, just insane that, you know, the C64 was still getting supported even at this late stage. You know, we're in the mid-90s at this point. Go on then, let's give it another go. You twat. It's funny, like timing jumps is very much an 8-bit, sort of 16-bit skill. You just don't get that in modern games now. Yeah, you have to jump over things, but you'll never know what it was like to try and do a timing jump like it was back in the day. You know, you had to avoid things like that. It was very tricky. Well, at least I'm up there anyway. Now where do I go? I can't see pressing fire button does nothing. I'm guessing you must pick up some sort of weapon. Ah, bollocks. But I'm really not too sure. I notice at the bottom there's another wee, you've got the wee Aardvark and there's another little guy with 0, so can you do co-op or something? I'm not too sure, but anyway, that's Nobby the Aardvark, that's on the C64. Right, this game, this is, I don't know, was this released as a full price game? I'm not too sure. There was a chap called, is it Ubik, who was he was a prolific sort of demo maker on the C64, and this was a game, I'm assuming it's programmed in BASIC, and despite how god awful it looks with user defined graphics, and I mean if you look at what's actually firing, the bullets are dollar signs, it's just all user defined graphics. It actually plays really, really well for a Space Invaders game, which is quite, I don't know whether that was the point the guy was trying to make. You don't have to have good graphics to get a good version of a game. Yeah, I don't know whether this was, I would be very surprised if this was released as an actual game. It might have been one of these games that was like a loading game. You actually got to play a game while the main game was loading. I don't know. It's actually quite good. Of course, I'm saying it's written in BASIC, it may well be written in machine code, but the guys intentionally picked user-defined graphics just to sort of, you know, to give it an old style look. I don't know whether the Commodore 64 could actually play a game as well as this if it was written in BASIC, because I know the BASIC wasn't particularly quick. I don't know if I keep missing him. Oh, there we go. Aye, that's called Nostalgia, and again that is on the Commodore 64. Right, sticking with the C64, this is Quidex, again written by Stavros Fasuli. Now if I remember rightly, I'm not using Wikipedia or anything for this, Stavros, I think he was Finnish, and he programmed a few games for Thalamus, and then he joined the army, and then I think after that he never actually, he did his time in the army, and I don't think he actually stuck as a programmer. What to do, guys, is I did interview Gary Penn, sorry, I interviewed Gary Liddon about a year ago, and we were talking about Thalamus, because Gary, he was I think a director, he was one of the founder members of Thalamus, and he was talking about Stavros, and I think he mentioned that he's the guy no longer works in the industry. But if you want to know more information about Thalamus, I would recommend you check out the Blimey It's Only Gary Liddon. It's got a really good interview. It goes on for quite a while, so go and check it out. I'll put a wee link above actually to that. Now this again, it was another game that I thought it looked amazing, but I never, for whatever reason, I never actually played it. When I was making this video, this was the first time I've actually played it. Now I remember the graphics of this level. This was the one that I think it was this was the one that was actually in the cassette inlay. Really nice shading, excellent looking game. So it's kind of a mazy game. It's more puzzle. Pick up keys and I don't know if you get any baddies or that later on, really not sure. So you can jump as well. This bit kind of reminds me of Gauntlet when you go through the wee transporter, but you're trying to manipulate the screen so that it would transport you to another transporter to sort of take you on a new part of the level. But I've got keys, but I can't seem to open any gates or any doors at all. I'm not sure. Oh, that'll be game over. Ran out of time. Anyway, that's Quidex again on the C64. Right, now this game, if I remember rightly, is called, what's it called? Retrograde. Again, first time I've played it, I've got to say it's rather nice. It kind of feels a wee bit like Gauntlet with a bit of was it not Bionic Commando, what's that one? Forgotten Worlds, yeah, Forgotten Worlds, where you kind of play a side-scrolling soldier with a wee bit drop zone. So it's like Forgotten Worlds with a bit of drop zone and defender chucked in. There's certainly a lot of stuff going on here. Was that a shop? Oh, there we go. Oh, what the hell? Right, okay. Buy it. I have no idea what I did there. Oh, have I upgraded my laser? I think I have. It's quite a frantic shooter. I'm really not quite sure what I'm doing here, I'm just messing about. Aye, that's quite nice though. Very, very arcade-like. That is Retrograde. Right, this is Sanction on the C64. Sorry, on the Spectrum I should say. Now, I've got to say, I did not actually realise that this was ever released on the Spectrum. I thought it was purely a C64 game. Now, oddly, there doesn't appear to be any sound. I'm guessing there was sound, but for whatever reason it's just not working in my emulator. And it's also bloody hard as well. It's almost as hard as the C64 one. I'm not a big fan of Sanction. I mean, it was one of the first games. I think it was the first game to get released with Thalamus. It's got one of the most iconic, impressive soundtracks for a game, but the actual game, I don't know. It looked nicer than it played. It had that top sort of level. It was split. The screen split into two parts. At the top, it's kind of like an overview of the screen, which doesn't serve any real purpose, and then the actual playing area is confined to a sort of 1/3 of the screen at the bottom, which made for quite a difficult game. It looked nice, but I think in retrospect, I think they would have been better off ditching the top part and just going for the full screen thing. It made it a wee bit easier, but that's on the Spectrum. So let's take a look at the C64 one. Now this has obviously got great music. That's what most people remember the game for. Yeah, it's not quite so bad in this version. I mean, you've maybe got, I don't know, 2/3 of the screen as a play area, and the top third is just a kind of a radar type thing. It doesn't really serve any purpose at all. It doesn't help you any at all. Certainly not that I can figure out. But I think they would have been better off ditching that top part and just making it full screen. It would give you a better chance of actually playing the game. But sound wise, this was incredible. Even graphically wise is nice, but it's not a particularly playable game, I don't think. Yeah, that sound, sort of droning engine sound is fantastic. But it is brutally difficult. It's a shame because the graphics are excellent, but I think they were just trying to be a wee bit too clever. Actually, they'd have been, like I said, they'd been better off just leaving the radar part out and just giving us full screen. That would have made the game so much more playable. I'm not quite sure about that little thing is that sort of moves from left to right. I know if you hit it, it destroys you, but yeah, graphically this is really nice looking. I've never really got that far in this game, just because I've never really played it much. I just find it far too frustrating. Possibly they made the sort of the actual enemies slightly smaller. All the graphics are very, very big, so you don't, coupled with the fact that you've only got a small playing area, it makes things feel quite claustrophobic. So yeah, technically it's a pretty looking game. Playability wise, I don't think it's that great. Great music though. That's Sanction. Right, this this game, never heard of actually. This is called Snee. Preparing to enter area. Right, okay. You can jump. What is going on? Oh, wait a minute, I've just... Right, okay, I think I've just realised that when you move left or right, what's actually happening, rather than just moving the sprite, the whole screen is rotating 90 degrees. which makes for a very, very, very confusing game. Yeah, oh dear, I don't like this at all. I've got no idea what I'm actually trying to do here. So you've got to jump over the sort of holes, which are kind of the big grey bits. What did I do? Okay, okay, I somehow managed to get to the end of the level. That was close. Yep, so basically you jump and then you turn the screen. And what you're doing is you're looking for the sort of portal thing. Oops, a daisy. Yeah, a bit odd that one. Nice graphics, but I'm not keen on the control system at all. That's a snare. Again, that's in the C64. Right, this is Summer Camp. It's a rather bizarre little platformer. You play the part of a little mouse. I'm not quite sure what the idea is. It's got some nice little cartoony graphics. Now I've got to say a wee shout out, it's actually my good mate Andy Roberts who did the graphics for this game. He did the graphics for quite a few other games. I think he also did Creatures 2 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Again, this was one of these games I missed out on a lot of the sort of later games by Thalamus, just because I'd moved away from the C64 at that point, and I had a Commodore Amiga. But as we all know, some of the best games appear late in the sort of the lifespan of a bit of hardware, purely and simply because the guys have got to grips with it, and you know the C64 was no exception. There was guys like Thalamus knocking out some amazing looking games. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm trying to do here. Looks like an 8-ball, a pool ball or something. It's quite tough, this one. I'm going to avoid that. What you can do is you can knock down the pool ball. Ah, bollocks, as soon as you go off the screen you you just reset that particular screen. Come on, let's get this. Ah, arse. Oh bollocks, that's me dead. Yeah, pretty looking game. I can't quite figure out what I need to do here. Alright, look, I can jump on that. Now, is there something I've got to collect? Avoid the dog. Yeah. Nice looking, bit confusing. That's Summer Camp again on the C64. This is Venom Wing, and this is on the Commodore Amiga. How do we start it? Let's go Venom Wing. Music. Okay, F1 to start. Whoa. Right, so it's kind of a shoot 'em up of sorts. Very nice graphics. What to say though, there was I sometimes felt that they almost went a bit over the top with colour in some games in the Commodore Amiga. I mean, this is a shoot 'em up, and it's got all these beautiful looking graphics, but the thing for me is the backgrounds of some of these games, it can sometimes sort of take away from what you're actually trying to do. You know, a shoot 'em up, you take something like Roboton 2084, you can see exactly what you've got to do. It's clear. You don't have any sort of confusing background graphics. And I sometimes felt that with some Amiga games. You know, they just sort of went slightly too over the top with the colour and detail, which kind of took away from the actual what you're trying to achieve in a game. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Because graphically it is really nice, but there's just a wee bit too much going on. I mean, the use of colour is gorgeous. Again, from a technical aspect, that is really pretty. Look at the colour in these baddies. To my mind, it's a bit over the top. I prefer my shooters, you know, slightly more basic looking, so you can see exactly what you're trying to do. But there's just a wee bit too much going on there for my liking. And the screen itself is pretty small. So anyway, that's Venom Wing. That was in the Commodore Amiga. Right, this pretty looking intro. It looks like the start of Terminator 2, the film. Yep, Vorodabur. Is it Vorodabur? Have I named the file wrong? I think it's Vorodabur. I'm not quite sure. Right, put your name in. Right, come on, how do we start? Show game over sequence. No, we don't want to see the game over sequence, thank you very much. Yeah, the Commodore was, the Amiga was awash with sort of hand-drawn graphics. But sometimes it just delayed you actually getting stuck into a game. Right, okay, Vorodabur I think it's called, not Vorodabur. Now this kinda confirms what I said in that other game. Really pretty looking. I mean, look, the use of colour there is astonishing. It's probably even more impressive looking than probably what a SNES or Mega Drive could do. Really pretty graphics. But I don't know, there's a bit too much detail on the backgrounds. Sorry if I'm coming across as a cantankerous old moan, and I probably am, it's probably just me, but I just find it a bit overbearing, the amount of detail and graphics in the background. It just makes it that wee bit more difficult when you're trying to see what you want to do. Maybe I'm just old school, I'm not used to kind of graphics this pretty. But this is absolutely one of the prettiest looking games. I mean, the hand-drawn graphics of this are just incredible. Can you see me get up there? Can I? Ah, bollocks! I think I just stabbed myself in a big spike. Pull the switch. There we go. But again, from a technical aspect, this is beautiful. Look at the detail in that sort of log thing that you're just, the elevator thing you've just come up. Right, don't impale yourself on top of a stalagmite. That's probably not a good idea. Kill the centipede thing. Don't fall off. Oh. Oh shit. Oops. But this is pretty. I could see myself playing this again actually. Just tone down the background slightly, guys. I'm not quite sure what these pickup things actually do. Ah, bollocks. Anyway, that is Barodabar, I think it is. Yep, on the Commodore Amiga. Right, this is Winter Camp. I'm guessing this is the follow-up to Summer Camp. Again, the graphics done by my mate Andy. Really nice. Nice and cartoony. I've not got a clue what I'm trying to do here. I'm waggling the joystick, but it seems to be moving the little arrow back and forwards along these icons at the bottom. And I seem to be slowing up. I've really got no idea what I'm doing here. This was actually about the 10th attempt I had to even qualify. You've got to qualify in each of the races, and this was the first time I managed it. It's slightly confusing. It's not a straightforward joystick waggler. Right, intermediate, bollocks, so here we go again. So this is going to be tougher, so I'm waggling the joystick like mad. Oh, avoid that, whatever that is. Alright, okay, so moving up and down moves you up and down, funnily enough. Walking in a winter wonderland. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't really know what the idea of the cursor. You've got the left arrow, you've got the right arrow, down arrow, and then there's a thing in the middle. I'm really not too sure what that is. Alright, I didn't qualify then. Oh no, sorry, I did qualify, right, okay, this is me now doing the advanced course. Right. It's a bit repetitive, to be honest. It's a bit tedious. Oh, avoid the flames. Right, I've slowed to a complete standstill. Oh, I'm going again. Yeah, I'm really not too sure what I'm doing here. Whoa! That's game over. Aye, that's Winter Camp. Not the greatest. Pretty looking game, but a bit too confusing, I think. Right, this is the first of 3 versions of this game I'm going to look at. This is Armalite. Now, this is on the Spectrum, and again I didn't realise this game was released on the Spectrum. The Spectrum generally shouldn't do horizontal scrollers, but I've got to say this is rather pretty. Absolutely nothing wrong with this at all. Yep, it's very reminiscent of R-Type. If anything, I'd say this is probably a prettier looking game than R-Type. Really, really nice. Now I did buy this in the C64, which we shall look at shortly, but yeah, like I said, the Spectrum isn't renowned for doing horizontal scrolling shoot 'em ups, but it just goes to show, in the right hands, you know, all these bits of hardware, they can do anything, you know, it's clever what they can do with them. And being at a kind of quite a sedate pace, it makes it very playable. Ah shit, I think I've gone the wrong way. It just goes to show just how capable the Spectrum actually is, even for a game like this, which, you know, you wouldn't normally associate it with. This is very, very impressive. Especially scrolling. I mean, it's not, the Spectrum is not renowned for scrolling like this, but that is super impressive. Yep, like that a lot. So that is Armalite, and that is a Spectrum. Let's take a look at another version. Right, you can probably tell this isn't the Spectrum one we're looking at now. This is the Commodore Amiga, complete with a little intro thing. Wow, it's got some nice graphics. Now again, this game demonstrates my point about having a screen with just too much detail and clutter. This has done the right thing. It's got beautiful graphics, but the background, bit of loading going on here. The background has they've kept that deliberately sparse, so it means you can actually see the game once it actually starts again. Here we go. Yep, the background is just a black scrolling star field, so it means you can concentrate on the actual game itself. That is really pretty looking. What makes it more impressive is when you think of all the graphics in these games are all hand drawn. The only thing that annoys me about some games like this is you've got this little intro which they force you to sit through every time. It's fiendishly hard. How the hell did you get through that? Oh, there we go. With great skill, obviously. Yeah, I mean the graphics in this game are not just like a sort of standard arcade shoot 'em up. I mean they're actually, it's like proper artwork. You know, it's impressive. It really is. Yeah, apart from the annoying intro bit every time, that's an excellent version. That's Armalite, and that's on the Commodore Amiga. Right, this was the original one. This is the C64 version of Armalite. Now I know this got, I think this got a Zap Gold medal if I'm not mistaken. I did buy this on disc actually, back in the day. And I remember I just found it too difficult. I think all these years of playing MAME and arcade shooters, I've kind of got a wee bit better. I'm still far from a good player, but I'm probably more proficient at a game like this now than I was, you know, back in 1985. again, this is super beautiful. I mean, just look at the graphics of that. Silky smooth, really, really nice. It's a tough game, that's for sure. I think this game you could actually have, I'm sure you could have 2 players simultaneous, which would probably make it a bit easier, make it a lot easier I'd imagine. But again, from a technical point of view, this is remarkable looking. Oh shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah. Yeah, it just shows you what can be done in the right hands. That's excellent. That's Armalite, and that is on the Commodore 64. Right, this is Creatures 2. There was a Creatures 1 which we shall look at shortly. Now, I've got to say, I could not for the life of me get off this level. So I do apologise now, I don't let you see very much of this game at all. I can't actually get off this level. You can't jump in the water, and you're constantly being attacked to these little green guys. Once again, graphics are by Andy Roberts, good friend. The graphics are excellent. I know this game and the first one were very, very popular. I think, in fact, some people actually say that the Creatures games are probably 2 of the best Commodore 64 games ever made, which is not surprising considering they did come at the tail end of I think they were probably 2 of the last commercial games to be released for the Commodore 64. But I had moved on, I was on my Amiga at that point, so I never really got to experience these games. And the thing is, back then you didn't have the internet or anything, so if you didn't own the hardware, you simply never got to see these games. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. If you want to see a better version, a better playthrough of this, just go up to the wee search box on YouTube and just type in Creatures 2 Commodore 64 and you'll hopefully see somebody do better than me. Because I just cannot get past this at all. Right, let's give it another. Oh, I'm there. Did I get hit with that thing? Come on, I'm determined to do this. I'm assuming you must be able to get past these guys and you jump. Ah, arse. Right, one last go. No, this game has got me beat, I'm afraid. Ah, bollocks. Yeah, anyway, listen, that's Creatures 2, that is on the C64. Right, this is the first Creatures, and this is the Amiga version we're going to look at. Excuse me. Again, very, very pretty looking game. that balloon thing. He does not want to die. Right, one more barrage of bullets. Nah, he's not having it. Stop it. Right, I notice when you hold the joystick down you get a sort of wee mini menu, so I'm guessing you must pick up power-ups and that kind of stuff. Jump across there and rescue that wee guy. Looks a bit like, excuse me, thing in a spring thing. Ah, bollocks. Hey, listen, that is Creatures, and that is on the Commodore Amiga. Right, this is the original one. This is the C64 version of Creatures. So I'll just let you compare. Yep, done by the Roland, John and Steve, I think it was. Roland. Or Rowland, is it? Now this was the original version. And it was later ported to the Amiga. Graphics are some of the finest I've seen actually in the Commodore Amiga, the Commodore 64. I don't know, are they using some fancy style to get more colours, or is it just clever artwork? It certainly looks to be more. I don't know how many colours the Commodore 64 could display, but the use of shading, especially in the wee rocks and that below, is excellent. But these were guys at the top of their game, you know, being able to get a game like this out of a humble C64 is quite incredible. Determined to kill that balloon thing. There we go, that was worth it. When in doubt, just fry them to death. Ah, balls. Alright, I need to go and rescue that wee guy, the wee green thing. Yeah, so when you pull down you get a wee sort of menu thing, which I'm guessing is some sort of power up, which I've got nothing off at the moment. You're not going to kill him that way, Alan. Let's just try and fall down and get past him that way. Oh, ah shit. Yeah, the sprites I've used for this game are excellent. They're really full of character, and it, if anything, it just goes to prove that you know, in the right hands, the C64 can do just as good a game as a Mega Drive or a SNES. I think I probably prefer the C64 version of this just because it's original. It just looks nicer. It was obviously the original. So Yeah, that's Creatures. Again, that's on the C64. And the very, very last game, guys, this is Delta Twilight. And this is on the Spectrum. And once again, I didn't realise Delta actually had a release on the Spectrum. It's interesting to realise why they've called it Twilight. You know, I mean, it was released by Thalamus. Why didn't they just call it Delta? I'm not quite sure. But it looks to be exactly the same game. Same level layout. And just as bloody difficult. Because you start off moving very slowly. So what you really need to do is clear a wave, and then that'll open up one of these power-ups. There's not a lot in the way of sound. In fact, is there any sound at all? It doesn't appear so. Well, how am I going to get through there? Was it Sanction had no sound as well? I think that was the case, eh? Bizarre. Don't know why that's the case, because I mean, Armalite had some decent sound, so it's not like the Spectrum can't actually do it. There's a wee power up, pick that up, and that should give me some more speed. Makes it a wee bit easier. Not much though. I should get enough speed, I think, because I've cleared that level. And there we go, I can get round it, and that should make me move even quicker. Yeah, that's a bit better. But anyway, guys, that is the last game I'm going to look at in this They Did What for Thalamus Software. Some real quality games, especially in the C64 and even on the Amiga as well, in fact even on the Spectrum as well. One or two games I wasn't too keen on. I wasn't overly keen on the Winter Wonderland or the Winter games, whatever it's called. Just a bit too kind of bizarre, but some excellent games to go and check out. But as usual, guys, if there's a company you want to see me do this feature on, please just put your comments below. And finally, thank you very much for watching.